Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new edition of Message of Hope. And today I have the pleasure to be with Nick Bottini, who is a coach and also an author of Just Play. So you can show your beautiful book. He's also an excellent musician as well. So welcome, Nick.
Hi, Martine. Great to be here.
Thank you for agreeing to be here. So I will ask you the infamous question, and it is, how does having this understanding, how does that help you navigate stress or anxiety or different events that can show up in your life?
Mm. I think first of all, I think I'm very grateful for having this understanding. It's only when I stop and think about it, like right now, that I realize how grateful I am. Because everybody's walking around with their understanding of how they think life works, and they do the best that they've got available to them, and so that in that respect, that we're all the same. So I don't want to give the impression that there's anything about me that's sort of exceptional or different. The thing that I would say is that I'm knowing that the source of this experience is the principle of thought. Knowing that the source of this experience is consciousness, and that there's an intelligence that's just part of how that works, has been helpful, because I've realized more often, not always, but more often, I've realized that when I'm deeply, deeply, deeply in my personal story, that there's the possibility to fall out of it, that there's the possibility to wake up from the bad dream, not the dream of the night, but like the daydream of the story about who I should be or who I can be or what I can do. And that's nothing special. That's something very, very everyday, that everyone has their own experience of. Everyone has got those moments where they kind of fall awake to the present moment, and they fall out of their thinking. And knowing that that's possible, and kind of exploring that, has meant, well, in my experience, it's felt that falling out of it happens more often. It's more accessible. There's no feeling or thought that has a power over me or over anybody. Doesn't have, there's no inherent power to it.
And that's huge. I have a member of my family who is going through a crisis in the last year, nothing to do with COVID, something else. And I was trying to explain to her where her experience was coming from. Because for her, it's her and the world against her, and everything was exterior. And I was trying to explain to her where her experience was coming from. And she says, no, you don't understand that. This is happening, and this is happening, and that happened. I said, I understand that, but the way you react belongs to you. Oh, no. And she will have like no exploration whatsoever. And the fact that you, like you said, willing to explore makes the whole experience different.
you know what? I think once upon a time, I would have listened to this kind of conversation that we're having now and heard it as if there is this kind of intellectual knowing, or as if there is this kind of set of facts, or like a lot of people go through their school life, or they build up this image of self-importance, which means that they're intelligent enough to have a certain kind of job, or they're they're enough of a problem solver to sort of think of themselves as a talented person. And at school, or in a career, having that fairly stable self-concept of I'm a good person, or I am high functioning, or I'm clever, all those things, like having that kind of self-image, it can seem like it's really important to have that in place, and there's a place for it. It's important to be able to think ourselves up like that. But the thing I've noticed is that actually I spent my life for many, many years not realizing that the whole idea of myself and who I unconsciously thought I should be, the whole thing was made up. And that I was kind of clinging on to it and didn't realize. It was like it was so deep beneath it wasn't within my awareness. I didn't notice it. And then once I did notice that I was basically trying to overthink my way through life, and that was just my kind of paradigm for how I thought I needed to be, then it suddenly gave me permission to not be a thinky person anymore. And I thought being a thinky person was a virtue. It was like, if you're intelligent, you answer quickly. If you, if you're talented, then you make a lot of effort and you're constantly thinking about a goal. And it was like there was value in being burnt out. And it wasn't just intellectually. It's like that was my way of being. And the thing I'm most grateful for now is that I don't feel the need anymore to think my way through life and wear it as a badge of honor. I know that it's at least possible. I don't always remember this, but I deeply know that it's possible to fall out of my personal thinking, fall out of the personal thinking, and for that to be a really, really the most valuable thing, way more than what the intellect can bring. And I love the intellect; it's powerful and useful, but going beyond the intellect, there is literally nothing greater than going beyond your intellect to that deeper feeling, to that knowing of what's true, the one truth of who you are.
Yeah, because from that place, there's more possibilities that we will have. The intellectual part of us will have never thought of. No.
There's infinite possibilities, everything.
Yeah.
Beyond what we can think, beyond what we can imagine. It's always more.
We were discussing just a little bit before the interview. Now we ask, oh, have you been busy, or those kind of things? But in reality, it's not business, because we're flowing. We were doing things, but from our wisdom. And there's no efforting in that.
Yeah, it's a mistake, isn't it, to assume that life needs some kind of internal effort to kind of be okay. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying we don't have a body, and I'm not saying that we can't use it as a tool, but it just seems like it's a mistake if we're thinking that psychologically or internally or spiritually or whatever the inside means, whatever that means, to think that that requires effort, that's a misunderstanding of what it essentially is, because it's creative and all it does is create, including the idea that we need to make an effort. It's yeah, you said the word flow, which is beautiful. It's just like a river flowing. It's just there's well, there's a paradox. There's constant change and permanence and stability. There's both those things at the same time. It's like this. It's the human condition. It's a kind of cosmic joke, isn't it? That we're kind of here and we're kind of not here. You know, we're kind of, we seem to be human beings, but we're something greater. We're not human beings. We're this one greatness. We're this one whole universe or consciousness, mind, and it's not one or the other. It's both, and it's that's kind of that's why we get stuck, because we think it's one or, and it's not two. It's one truth. It's one unfolding or one one truth.
And now we have to try to explain that.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, yeah, it doesn't lend itself to words, but you know, anybody, the thing that does the you know, the powerful work here for any of us is you know, deciding for oneself or feeling the truth of it, seeing the truth of it. If it'll be most useful if it's true. And you know, there'll be some things that, you know, I might say, for example, that don't resonate with somebody, which is fine. But this isn't about agreeing or disagreeing. It's about kind of listening for what's true, what makes sense in oneself. And that's a challenging thing at times, because, you know, I'm not going to go down the whole COVID thing, but you know, there's a lot of people very strongly pointing to other people knowing and you not knowing. You know, like the experts know and you don't know. Like, we're meant to you know, if we're a thinky person, if we're an intellectual person, and we hold that as a badge of honor, then we're meant to you know, defer to another intellectual person who's more qualified, and this is something different. This is about doing what makes sense to you, not giving away the power.
Follow your own truth.
Yeah, and knowing that can be quite fierce. You can do that.
And that knowing
goes against the grain. You can do it to go against the grain, and that's something that people are often conditioned against. They want to please people rather than actually doing what the moment is actually requiring. Sometimes the moment requires leadership, and it requires you to be the only person. You know, you're the only person that sees something, an opportunity or a way to serve, and it requires you to take a stand. And I've definitely felt moments like that where it's like, is no one going to do something? Is no one seeing this? It's like, well, I'm seeing this, you know, you're seeing this. So that's the mandate from the universe to, you know, because it came up, you know.
And it's the difference between the intellectual knowing and the knowing. Because when it's a knowing, there's a calmness that comes with it. And when it's an intellectual knowing, there's still a, oh, maybe yes, maybe no, still type of thing. But when there's this wisdom, it comes with a calmness. than trying to follow the crowd.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, it's a moment to moment, case by case kind of basis. There's not a formula for what a person should do or how they should feel or how they should think, but by listening to what the moment is saying, by being, like you said, by being open to at least take a look for yourself, you then, it just becomes obvious what to do. Yeah, it's falling out of the intellect. Wild.
Well, thank you, Nick, for your time and wisdom. And if people want to find you, where can they find you?
So my website is www.nickbottini.com, and they can find me on Facebook as well. I run a community for musicians called the Just Play community, but I have a suspicion that if people want to find me, they'll find a way.
Thank you once again.
Thank you.